Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Top Music Attorney, and we have a great Tuesday show for you. So, this is the Top Music Attorney podcast, the podcast that helps you learn how to master the music business and stay legally protective. We are live every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. PST, 10 p.m. EST, and this is a place where you can get your questions answered. Now, our show is structured so that I have different segments as far as news stuff that we're going to be covering, what is new in the entertainment and or music business. I'm always going to give you guys artist tips of being kind of an entertainer in the entertainment industry. And of course, we're going to get into all the juicy stuff as far as stuff that I'm trying this week. So we have a lot that we cover, but the reason that I do these shows live is because I want you guys to have the ability to check in with me twice a week, and you can let me know kind of what's all going on with you. You can ask questions. I get a lot of calls to my law office, and sometimes they're just kind of quick questions that people have. And so understanding that we have a very full roster at my law firm, that's kind of why I'm doing these live streams, right? So it's a place where artists and business owners can come and get their questions answered for free. So if you are new here, or someone who might be interested or have questions that they need help with, be sure to invite them to the live stream, because again, we're live for the very purpose of being able to answer your questions. So the way it works, you guys are in the chat. I see you all filing in. We are live streaming right now. Home base is Top Music Attorney YouTube. Okay, so if you're not subscribed here on YouTube, make sure you do that. But I know some of you are watching right now on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We are broadcasting everywhere. And the good news is that no matter where you're watching right now, your comments are coming through to me and I can see you. So here, let me bring it on in. Hey. Andrew prefers watching the streams on YouTube. Facebook streams buffer a lot. That's very good to know. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. If you do come and subscribe on Top Music Attorney YouTube, this is the place to be. And we're working really hard to build the community so that you guys have a place that you can come when you have legal questions and you have things that you need help with. Thank you very much. We're working. I put in a couple curls really fast. I had like 5 minutes before the show. I'm like, you know what? Let's do a couple curls. And so I did it really fast. It was all going well. And then I burnt myself. I burned my hand. So now I have this continual kind of, sting on my left hand, which just reminds me how much I love you guys. And we're trying here. Hello from Sacramento. Hello, guys. Thank you for being here. Hello, and what's up? Hello in the UK. Yeah, where's everyone checking in from right now? Hi, Speed. Thanks for being here. Hey, Michael. Jonathan. Hey, I appreciate you guys all being here. So we have a packed full show. I have 2 segments specifically to teaching you guys how to stay legally protected, teaching you how to think like attorneys. And I really just want to start doubling down on these segments because I was thinking about my show in general and kind of what's the purpose, and having a space that you guys can come to get your questions answered, to connect so that you can learn how to stay legally protected is really the goal. I love talking about all the newsy stuff, right? Kind of pop culture, giving some legal commentary. That's so fun for me. And that's always going to be a part of these shows. But really, the reason why, again, we do these live is so that I can actually connect with you guys. And so I was reflecting on that and just wanting to make sure that I'm reiterating that a little bit better every single show, and encouraging you guys to invite your friends to actually be a part of what we're doing here. Hello, Australia. Love that. Philippines. Law and Order, the music unit. That's funny. Oh, Alaska. And of course, Phoenix. Right by Alaska. Okay. And Phoenix. Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna kind of get right into, and for my show producer, that Orko, one of my screens just went out. I don't know if you can come and plug this back in while we're kind of going through this first segment. But while we're doing that, I kind of am doing something I tried this week to be superhuman segment. Okay, so when we first started this, my first kind of week 1 was we're trying, beef liver. Okay, and we talked about it and we tried it, and that was a whole thing. And then last week was we're trying to go sugar free. And so continuing that narrative of we're trying to cut out the sugar. We're now on day 16 on my end. Okay. So I want to talk about that for a second because that is still the goal for this week. And if anyone wants to join me on that goal, please, you're welcome to. And if I have to suffer, why can't we all suffer together? Now, the benefits of going sugar free is going to be, less headaches, more energy, improved mental state, fewer mood swings, weight loss. Is supposed to help with your skin to be vibrant and beautiful. And let me just kind of be honest with this. I sort of didn't really feel too much of a change, some fatigue issues, but I'm kind of like breaking out the last few days, and I don't normally break out. And so I'm wondering, reading, if this is this detox process. They say as you kind of go off of something, whether it's caffeine or sugar in my case, that your body starts to detox from it. And so you experience some gastrointestinal, you might get headaches, right? We're trying to fight that. You might get tired. And it's all just because your body's been reliant on this thing and you don't have it anymore. And so even though we're at day 16, I kind of feel like maybe that's what's happening. So I feel like I need a little encouragement from my community, a little hang in there. Let's try and make it another 7 days. Okay. Um, and that's kind of what I'm doing. So I don't know who wants to join me on this no sugar party rocking, but we're doing it. So let's go back to the chat. Hello. I love you guys too, and I appreciate you all being here. Andrew's trying to get healthier, having some grilled chicken nuggets and salad so far this week. All right, you got your protein. I got you. Get your greens in. I haven't been doing so good with my greens, and so I made a commitment yesterday. We gotta make a concerted effort to have the greens. From Phoenix, hello, hello. One thing I'm going right now is what visa I need to get and how to get it to be support crew in the States for a US art. It's confusing, and the embassy are trying. It can take up to 9 months. Okay, I'm not sure what exactly the question is as far as a visa. Unfortunately, that might be you need to call corporate. But it's funny. I represent a lot of clients, not only around the United States, because, as an entertainment attorney, I have the ability to do a lot of transactional work, trademarks, copyrights, contract negotiation. So I have clients all over the United States, but we also do deals internationally, right? So my clients might be distributing films all around the world. And so we are working with subcontractors, sub distributors in different countries. And it's funny, we do run into problems with things like payments, right, that are coming in foreign currencies. And so, to a degree, we have kind of dealt with stuff like that. Stay strong. Thank you. I've had some weak moments. Hey, I posted about this a few days ago in my stories, and I'm just like, it sounds so stupid, but I feel like in the stupidity, maybe you guys can connect and understand, you know what I'm saying, and be there with me. But I was eating breakfast, and it's one of the times, every couple of days or whatever, where I'll have this huge craving for sugar. And it's because I would always have a big glass of orange juice with my breakfast. And so now that I've taken it out, I'm finding that I'm so disinterested in eating breakfast. And like the thing that I wanted was the sugary orange juice. And so I'm trying to like muscle through it, but I'm telling you, I feel like a drug addict coming off the sugar. And that's what I've been reading. They're like, it's 8 times more addictive than cocaine. Run the other way. All right. Hello from the UK. We've got another UK. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. How am I doing? I'm doing great, other than kind of burning the crap out of my finger. That's just gonna happen. I'm doing good, and I'm hoping you guys are doing good. Let's bring some positive energy. Kind of the rules for my show. We are doing this live. As far as being in the chat, is to be respectful, right? I always want to have a positive kind of conversation and community. And we don't really like any negative zones happening, so none of that. Mike just got his holy water shirt in the mail today. Mike, big love to you guys. Yeah, so I have Miss Krystle merch on misskrystle.com. And so one of my shirts is holy water. And actually, I wear the holy water shirt no less than once a week, if not more. I really love the holy water design that we did. And in fact, funny little side note, I had a whole fight over the holy water trademark over 2 years. Okay, over 2 years, I was fighting with a couple of different people over ownership of that trademark. So that's a long story for another show, but safe to say I won. So I own it. I don't think you need sugar. I don't think I need sugar, but my brain is telling me something else, okay? Brandy, I don't think I could go without sugar. Stay strong. Thank you very much. I tried this one time before. I think I got through like 2 weeks. Um, you know, and then my brain convinced me that I needed it. I've read everywhere that eating 5 to 6 small meals per day with tons of water is best. Yes, high protein, that's the way to go. And you definitely want to get your healthy fats because if you're not having the carbs, right, the carbs are what give you quick energy. Then you want to make sure that you're having good sources of fats, right, like coconut oil, which by the way is in our tea, right? We have coconut oil every time we drink tea. You got to change that gut biome. You're right, Jonathan, as far as kind of the health and how your gut affects your brain, right? So again, back to what are the benefits of going sugar-free? Well, one of them supposedly is mental clarity, right? Cognition, energy. So as we are fixing our gut and eliminating the thing that feeds all the bad bacteria, hopefully we're going to be superhuman because I go back to what we're doing here. Something we tried this week to be superhuman. I want to biohack. And then I want to tell you guys about it so you can do it too. Without support, it's hard. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think your brain tries to convince you of all the bad things that you probably you shouldn't be doing, but then your brain's like, eh, what's the big deal? You guys know what I'm talking about. Fred from Canada. Hi, hi, hi. Oh, Jason's got a full breakdown here. Let's see. Sugar's an addictive or as addictive as oxygen. You can't actually be addicted to something your body needs. Overuse of processed refined sugar is a problem, but all carbohydrates break down into sugars. You are correct on that. Yeah, so guys, I mean, I could just keep going on this forever because in another life, I'm a health nut. I over research everything and then I'm constantly trying new things, which is kind of why I wanted to share this and start making it a thing on my show because it's just something I'm interested in. This show is about helping you guys stay legally protected and educating you and talking about the stuff in the news, but it's also about what I want to talk about and what I think is interesting. And I think it's interesting when we try stuff and try to biohack. All right, so let's see. We have Michael. Michael smoking and drinking. I don't plan on trying to quit. Too much stress. It is incredibly stressful. And that's probably why it's very difficult for people to give up things like caffeine or sugar. I totally get it. But that's why I'm sharing because you know what? Maybe through my struggle, you guys can either sympathize and give me a, hoorah, or you can just learn. You can learn through what I am trying. Okay, so let's just get to a couple more comments and then we're going to move into our first segment of today. Jay, I still drink and smoke, haven't made it to the gym yet. Too much daily stress. You know what, guys? I mean, I think we need to have like a whole conversation about stress. And, I kind of was like rebirthed after kind of losing my health and getting really, really sick. I kind of did a whole video about it on my Miss Krystle YouTube channel if you want to watch that. But coming out of that, coming out the other side of a very painful process mentally, physically, you have a new perspective and a new determination, and that's kind of where I'm at. But look, live your life. You know what I'm saying? Go grab a beer. Let's have a beer and you know what I'm saying? Watch a show. Greg on Facebook, what if I'm working 50 hours a week and need a chocolate bar mid-morning? Is that okay? Now, let me tell you, I did go and I found the sugar-free chocolate. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I did find there's some sugar-free chocolate, and I did all this research about like plant-based sugars, and so I'm not insane. Okay, there may or may not be some sugar-free dark chocolate happening, but I digress. Phoenix, thanks. I've never had a shout out before. I myself like a neurogenesis diet. That sounds fancy. Ivan, hello. I just went back to school after 20 years. Stress is through the roof. There we go again with the stress. Well, congratulations. I think going back to school after not doing it for a long time is nerve-wracking and scary, and your brain just doesn't work that way, but it will, right? We can always retrain our bodies and our minds to do amazing things. All right. All right, so let me go back to my list here. I don't even know where we're at. I'm getting into all of this. All right, so let me kind of run the intro here, and then I'm going to talk to you about some stuff that I saw before we get into the first official segment, which is going to be kind of fun because I'm finally getting caught up on things like Stranger Things. I don't know who's watching that show, but I have some thoughts. We're going to talk about it. I'm just delaying because I can't find the intro, and here we go. Hi guys, I'm top music attorney Miss Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and creator of the Top Music Attorney School for artists and record labels. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent artist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss my weekly videos giving you my best tips on the music business, industry news updates, and teaching you how to stay legally protected. Let's go. All right, so first and foremost, I still got this chat up. Let me get off right there. All right, perfect. So first and foremost, I've been doing a very bad job on recent shows to let you guys know about resources that are out there because I just always feel weird about promoting stuff, but they're literally free things that are there to help you guys. So, like I said, I get a lot of calls to my law office for people needing consults and just tons of stuff throughout the week, and I can't help everyone. And so, I created these free resources so that you can get the help and it will be free. So, at topmusicattorney.com, that's where I have things like my free contracts course where I teach you, hey, here are the things when you get a contract, which you will. Everyone's done contracts or has to do contracts, how to deal with it, how to know when trying to scam you, when it's BS, how to, all these best tactics that I have as an actual attorney that does contract review, drafting, negotiation. So for example, that's one free thing. And there's things like record label, how to build a record label course. So if you haven't, check out just topmusicattorney.com. If you need help, if you're an artist or basically just in the music business trying to get some assistance. All right, so I'm seeing some requests for weird stuff in the chat. I suppose I said the rules for the show are to be positive and, requests for feet and all of that is maybe not so much appropriate for our law show, but that's just me. All right, you watched it. We need to talk. All right, guys. So yes, I did, and we're not through it all. Okay. So as far as I think I'm on episode 5 of Stranger Things. Okay, so let me give you a little spoiler alert. If anyone has not seen Stranger Things yet, I'm gonna talk about it real quick. So this is your moment to go away and then come back in a few minutes. But specifically to that episode 4, right? So we'd been talking about Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush and the fact that it continues to just get so much coverage every day. We're seeing articles in news blogs talking, right? That this news things typically die, especially when it's something like a song placement after like a day or two. But this thing has just been going and going. So in that scene 4, it's a very emotionally powerful scene, and we see Max, or the character Max, and she's held in this psychological captivity by Vecna, right? So Vecna, I feel like that's a word from like a Rammstein song, Vecna. And it's a serial killer from the upside down world. And so she's in this trance and she's kind of in this tortured state because, what Vecna does is he tortures his victims with their fears. And so anyway, we see her kind of like remembering different things, beautiful things, positive things, and she breaks away and she's able to kind of get out. So while we are seeing that, we have Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. Now, something that stood out to me was that this was not obviously the first time that we had heard this song. So this song not only has this incredibly huge placement in one of our favorite TV shows, but this is actually, there's been 4 references to this song, which is just amazing for Kate Bush. So number one, they had played the song, for maybe like 20, 30 seconds. I think it was in the first episode, right? They're in the school and walking down the hallway and you hear the song. But then in this episode 4, obviously this super climatic, emotionally inducing moment for Max. So I think that was the one that really pushed the song. But then in the following episode, we hear Max talking to her friends and they're discussing Kate Bush. Oh, I love Kate Bush so much. And then you hear the song a little bit playing through Max's headphones because she continues to listen to the song. So as far as just like the power of placing a song in a hit TV show and then having it, referenced 4 different times or another is absolutely incredible, and I'm so excited for Kate Bush and the popularity, and I hope her team gets it together so they can, like, release a new song or get her to do a live performance of it or something. Alright, so let me go back to the comments here. So is anyone else watching this? Am I the only one? It's a great season. Jim's watching on LinkedIn. Yeah, all the comments are coming here. If you guys are commenting on any of these platforms, they come through. I can see them. Jen, I love the song's use in there. You can hear it in several episodes. You got it. Will there be a season 5 of Stranger Things? That's a good question. Show producer, you should do some research on that really fast and see if there's an answer. I don't know. Vecna, you mean it? I'm right on that name though. I think it's a very solid name. Vecna is a dad thing. I love how much they use dad D&D. Like dad in this show I've played for years. Yeah, so in any case, I'm super, super excited. I haven't watched the remaining episodes, but of course, this is a great show and I'm getting all caught up. So you guys make sure you're continuing to watch and then we can kind of do our thing together. So I'm going to do a little bit of a refresh and then we're going to go into our artist segment. So hold tight. All right. All right, there we go. So hopefully that will help us out a little bit. I don't know if we want to adjust the camera a little bit, but we're kind of lagging on our end. So hopefully that gives you guys a nice clean slate. And we're going to move now into our artist segment. So today I want to talk about how to start a music career. Okay. When do you want to do it? How do you do it? And when I was kind of thinking through this today, I broke it down into 5 different segments of thinking through it, strategizing a plan, and then executing. And this is a conversation that I have over and over and over. As real life entertainment attorney, I have consultations, I have meetings with my clients, and these questions come up. And so while it might kind of seem like a basic thing, how to start your music career, maybe you kind of have some ideas. There are things that people don't think about or they just feel incredibly overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. So, the first kind of category that I want to talk about, or the first thing you need to think about when determining how to start your music career, is what's the skill set that you need to learn or that you need to get better at. Okay, so very basic. If you are a singer, if you are a rapper, a producer, if you're a guitar player, whatever it is that you're going to be doing within kind of the music creative realm, make that decision. Okay. And once you've kind of made that decision, now that's the baseline of you need to continue to work on your craft because some people are starting super, super fresh on it. Right. So I was talking to a client today and, someone coming from an entirely different career and now saying, okay, I want to get into music. Right. I want to have my first album, my first release. And so, kind of deciding I'm going to be a singer at minimum, but also maybe getting into music production. So making that decision, big first step, but then also just realizing that that's a skill that you're going to continue to need to work on. I don't care if you're Beyonce. I don't care if you are Kelly Clarkson, who just like wakes up in the morning, opens her mouth, and she's just fabulous. She is still going to be working on her craft every day. And that's what we have to do as creators. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2 is figure out how you're going to capture that creativity. Because that might be something that is causing you to stall, right? To not execute, not make decisions. Because some people will say, well, I need to get all my ducks in a row and I need to get the studio and the music producers and I don't know how to write songs. And they get so overwhelmed that they just don't do anything. Right. So when I say figure out how to capture the craft, is you can do something as simple as set up your phone. We all have phones. Set up your phone and record yourself singing a cappella if you want to be a singer, right? If you are playing an instrument of some type, play your guitar, right? If you are singing and you play the guitar, beautiful. Something very simple to showcase your talent. And then from there, you can springboard and build on it. And as you build, and this is what I did in my music career, right? Because we know when I started in my teens, I didn't know how to produce music. I didn't know how to network with producers. And I just really felt very lost. And that's partially why I'm doing this video, is because I know someone's clicking on this video and they're watching because they're not sure how to start, where to go, and I'm going to help you. Okay. So figure out how to capture it, right? Because then we're going to get to the next step of distribution. But when it comes to capturing it, don't be intimidated to not, download a program like Pro Tools, like Reason, right? You don't need to be a professional producer, mixing engineer, mastering engineer to be able to create a simple demo. Okay. That's what I did. I taught myself how to do simple production so I could put together demos, of which then I went and pitched to other better producers. And so in a way, I kind of became my own producer so that I would have an opportunity just to showcase, this is what my voice sounds like, this is what I can potentially do. But again, the reason why I recommended, here's some stuff that you can do as far as just using your phone, is because don't have any excuses to not start today. Okay. So, and then you go into, all right, so if I am going to capture this and it's not just going to be a demo, maybe I do need to find a producer, or I do need to learn how to do this myself if I'm trying to be a producer, for example. That's all okay. And the beautiful thing is that here we are on YouTube. YouTube is the most powerful resource for research that there is. And you can become an expert on literally everything. And you don't have to hire, professionals to teach you how to do this stuff. You can. There are courses and all of that. But, start at least with the free stuff, right? Exhaust YouTube of all the free resources and learn how to, again, capture the craft of what you need. DIY studios. I can't tell you how many great videos there are of just simple setups. My first year of law school, and even before then, right? My first year of college or university. My first year of university, I was putting together my, honors thesis. It was my album. I don't know what the hell I was doing, but I just was figuring out as I went and just kind of challenging myself that, no one else is going to do this for me. And I want that to be a big takeaway that you guys have. No one is ever going to hand you anything on a silver platter. And in fact, when you have something that they want, you have audience and that hit song and things are going great, people are only going to come to you because they want something from you. And that, I guess you could take that as a hard, ugly truth, or just take it as fact and reality and think about what you do, right? When was the last time you're like, hey, stranger, let me buy you a car? I mean, just as far as our tendencies to want to kind of self-help, okay? So figure out how to capture that thing and figure out a way to start executing, right? I saw, I see so many people on TikTok going live, and they'll go live for 2 hours and they'll have 5,000 people watching them. Okay. So if you did a show in a venue with 5,000 people watching you play your piano and sing a song or play your guitar, that would be incredible. So just understand the power of simplicity and build from there. All right. So step number 1, figure out the skill. Step number 2, figure out how to capture the skill. And then step of number 3, when it comes to how to start your music career, is distribution. And the nice thing is about, distribution is that you can do what we call soft distribution, meaning you don't have to put your music on, Apple Music or Spotify right away. You can start softly by just distributing it to SoundCloud, right? Just put something on YouTube, just put something on TikTok. Just see how the music does, start to build your audience. And then the good news is that when you want to distribute your music to all the platforms, there are DIY services like DistroKid, CD Baby, TuneCore, of which, very simple. You just have your cover art, you have your files, right? It might be a WAV file or an MP3. You upload, and then they send it to all the music platforms, and then they pay you. So it's a very simple process when it comes to actually distributing the music, but don't feel so overwhelmed where you're like, oh, I'm not ready to have my music on Spotify, because you don't actually need to do that if you don't want to. You can send your music to only limited platforms. Or, what I say to clients, I say, just go all in. Why not? Put it all out there, because you want to build your fan base as quickly as possible. You don't know where people are listening. So have your stuff everywhere. These are great tips. So true about the 5,000 people thing. Not to mention 5K people at $10 to $20 per ticket. Yeah, look, and Chris made a good point. If you are, trying to convert your audience and to try to make money, which is totally fine, right? If you are trying to have a successful long-term career in the music business, you want to be able to make money from it. That's fair. But sometimes it's a little early, right? Sometimes you want to just build that goodwill with your audience so that they know about you, they want to see you live, and then when you say, "Hey guys, I'm going to be in your area next month," they will come out and they will buy those tickets. Kurt on Facebook, "Hey, Miss Chris, I was listening to some of your music earlier. You are really great. Thank you very much." Yeah, you guys, I am an independent artist, and I called it sassy dark pop music the other day. So I do dark pop, generally speaking, which is kind of hard to explain sometimes, but it's like pop rock with kind of, almost industrial vibes to it, but like a Billie Eilish meets Halsey on her, Trent Reznor collaboration days. But it's about finding your voice and what you want to do. So distribute the music. And then number 4, you want to market the crap out of your music. Okay. And, this is something that I can't stress enough, right? So we spend so much time creating the thing, right? Working on the thing, collaborating with people, doing the legal stuff, which we're going to talk about. And then you finally distribute it and then you don't promote it. You don't pre promote. You might post the day of and be like, "Hey guys, it's up." And then the algorithm crushes your post. And so, of your 5,000 followers, 5 of them saw your post. And then you don't promote it afterwards. So there's a big missing link for independent artists in just this mindset of understanding that one of your big jobs is that you have to market the crap out of your music and yourself. It doesn't mean you have to be spammy, right? But it means that you have to try to have some creativity. So rather than, you just posting a clip of the song with some cover art, which would be fine, but, are you going to find that super interesting if someone else did that? Or is it more interesting that you're in your car singing at the top of your lungs to your song for 30 seconds? Or is it interesting that you went somewhere and you do kind of a TikTok to a clip of the best part in your song and you have some kind of transition? Maybe you do a makeup transition. I mean, it's kind of endless what you could do, but it's up to you to figure out what works with your brand. You don't have to be a certain thing. You don't have to dance. You don't have to be in your car singing at the top of your lungs if that doesn't fit your style, right? Maybe you want to be in the studio. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but I think coming up with a plan is an incredibly important part of this, but also it's just marketing that I'm talking about generally. All right, let's go back to these comments really fast. Yeah, so, another way to kind of define my music would be like Evanescence meets Nine Inch Nails, who maybe hangs out with Prodigy after work. It's been a while since I've done a live show, but, my live shows are crazy. Someone is passing out, and by that I mean me. I'm usually passing out because I can't breathe because I'm like running around the stage. I love performing. Kurt on Facebook, "I'm chasing after my dreams. I'm trying to have a music career of my own." I love that. Then this is for you. Jen, your book talks about marketing so well. Yeah, guys, I mean, that's true. So I have a book and you can check it out on topmusicattorney.com. But the biggest section in my book is about marketing. And it's because marketing is the biggest and most important piece of your brand and getting your music out there to new ears and new audiences, other than the importance of staying legally protected. But marketing is incredibly, incredibly important. Promotion for singles, albums, gigs, and tours has to be done months in advance and need to do it at least a few times a week, if not every day. Yeah, and guys, I mean, look, I'm coming from a place of I'm gonna kick your ass to go and just do it because you got to do it, and I'm here to tell you that. But I also am coming from a place of being very sympathetic and understanding. It's like this weird coagulation of stress, and I don't know what the f I'm doing, and I feel stupid as shit, and I get all of that. But you got to set that aside because at the end of the day, you do want people to hear your music, right? You want to serve your fans, you want to serve your audience. And so it's up to you to give them something so that they can hear about it and know about it and all that. So we have to know what our skill is. We need to figure out how we're going to capture it. We need to figure out how we're going to distribute it. And then we have to figure out how we're going to market it. And then we need to figure out how to stay legally protected. Okay, so I have on each one of these little pieces that I'm going to touch on, I have full length videos talking about how to do this, why they matter, but I'm still going to touch on it here. So, number one, when it comes to staying legally protected, is setting up a limited liability company. Okay, when you set up a company, right, a corporation or an LLC, you have a liability shield around you. You have a business so that if something happens, there's a breach of contract claim, someone I use this analogy. You're doing a live show, someone's jaw gets broken because you get in a fight and now they're suing you. You know, in any scenario, it's the LLC that kind of has to suffer that liability and not you individually, right? We don't want people going after your car and your house and your clothes and your favorite blankie. Okay. We want to make sure that you are staying legally protected. But then the other things that are really important to have are producer agreements, collaboration agreements. So that comes to when you are working with people and you are, getting music produced by other producers. Those are the two agreements that are really, really important. Again, in the book, guess what? They come with the book for free. All right. And I've done a really bad job kind of promoting the book. But the reality is, if you got the book's like $20. And all these contracts come for free with the book. If you hired a law office, each one of these contracts would be like $700. So I need to do a better job of just telling you guys that this fucking book is amazing just for the contracts that you get so that you can stay legally protected, which it does include those two contracts. And then you want to copyright your music. Don't send your shit in the mail to yourself. Okay, that's called the poor man's copyright. It's not a thing. It's not a real thing. And the poor man's copyright is just filing your copyright. It costs $65 and it's very fast and easy to do. I have a video on Top Music Attorney YouTube teaching you how to file your copyright, and just do it. Okay? You need to do it because if someone steals your music, in order to sue them in a court of law, the court of law is going to say, "Hey, where's your copyright?" So you need to get that piece of paper. And I go into more detail in my copyright videos about that, but you got to get it. And then lastly, you got to trademark your name. Okay? When it comes to trademarking your name as a performer, an artist, a band, it's really important to do this, even if it's your legal name, right? So, clients will be like, "Krystle, what if it's my legal name? Can I or not copyright, trademark my legal name?" And the answer is yes. If you are using whatever name, legal or otherwise, as your brand identifier for your music, you want to trademark it in association with music, in association with live performances, in association with the merch that you're going to sell. And you want to do it on the federal level. So get an attorney to file your trademark with the USPTO. It is a very valuable investment that you own your trademark. And fun little side story, I had another fight with the trademark office about my Miss Krystle trademark, right? So Miss Krystle in association with the music that I release, with my clothing, with my live performances. And the trademark office was denying my application. And, quite frankly, it was kind of BS because they were like, "You can't, get it because there's a record label called Krystle Records and it's confusingly similar." And so, good news, I'm an attorney. So you better believe I cite to every legalese thing and came up with some creative arguments to overcome those rejections and objections. And so overcame all that. I got it. It's great. But it's very valuable because, whenever you have something hit, when you have a song go viral, like your brand and that attachment of the trademark is very, very valuable. Okay, let me go back to the chat really fast. Sorry, guys, I get fired up. I want to make sure that you are staying legally protected, and so that's why we're doing this. Jan, I find myself telling people about LLCs now. You've taught us so well. Love that. Ivan, would you give the same advice to a starting photographer? Yeah. So, as an entertainment attorney, I represent photographers and we have like a photographer agreement. In fact, there's a photographer agreement in the book. And it's for purposes of when you work with photographers and making sure that there is a clear understanding of ownership of the pictures. But as far as things like copywriting, registering your trademark as a photographer, right? To make sure that as a brand, as you are promoting yourself, that you own your trademark and no one else is going to be able to, infringe on it. Absolutely. Concerts take a very important role. Yeah, you got to be performing, but that includes doing things like live streams. Last decade, there was a problem on copyright and contracts, but now it's okay. Look, there can be problems on contracts and copyright all across the board. But the first thing you got to do to make sure you stay legally protected is that you got to take the step. Don't be so intimidated that you never get any contracts. Again, why put all the contracts for free, for you guys? Because you just have them now and you just need to fill in names and just fill in dates and amounts being paid. But the hard work is done. So, recap. When it comes time to start your career, or even if you already started your career and you don't know where to go, you feel a little bit lost. Number one, you have that skill. If you are rapping, if you are producing, deciding what it is and doubling down, not getting too distracted, not spreading yourself thin. So we have the skill. Number two, we're going to capture that. We're going to start distributing our skill and building our fan base immediately, right? You don't have to have the perfect polished album or EP or single or music video ready to go. Just start with something very low resistance, a 30-second clip of you singing a cappella or doing whatever it is that your craft is. Share that. And then that will help you to see what you're doing and to hear what you're doing and to get a response from your audience that you're building. Number three, distribute, right? Do a soft distribution. If you're not sure, test things on TikTok, test things on SoundCloud, and then do full distribution, right? Through one of these DIY places, like, for example, DistroKid. I love DistroKid. They can help you, especially if you do cover songs. Marketing. Double down, come up with a marketing plan. I had this client and we did a consultation and I felt like, he was kind of looking for somewhere between excuses of why not to do marketing, but also encouragement to push him just to do it, which is exactly what I did. And I just said, okay, you're not good with TikTok. You don't get on social media very much, but let's talk about the things that you do. What's your day job? And I think he worked in a dispensary. I'm like, that's interesting. Talk to me about what happens in the dispensary. Talk to me about how that goes. Like, as far as just kind of building your algorithm, it doesn't always have to be music 100% of the time. What's part of your brand? What's something that you can put out to help people to know you? Because you want people to like your music, but you want them to like you as well and to buy into you. And so I go, think low resistance. What can you talk about that might be interesting? And then who do you know that does know how to do social media really well? Oh, well, my girlfriend. My girlfriend's on TikTok all the time and she does a lot of TikToks. Perfect. Let's have your girlfriend help you. Let's have her kind of give you some ideas and to, help you actually create these things. So if you can't do it yourself, find someone who can help. But, I always say, don't say you can't do it. You can't. You just have a brain clog of reasons of why you can't. SoundCloud is so underrated and has a lot of stigma against it. Well, I mean, we see all kinds of people who have done really, really well on SoundCloud. It just kind of depends on the platform. I mean, TikTok. We have TikTok stars being born and getting record deals because they had a song go viral on TikTok. All right, Victoria from YouTube. When songs have collaborations, do both artists have full ownership of that song? Great question. So if you are writing a song with someone else and they've contributed in any way, right? So if they offered some lyrics, some chords, some melodies, anything, if they contributed creatively to the thing that was recorded, then they have copyright ownership in it just as much as you do, right? So the answer is collaborators have co-ownership. And the way that it works under copyright law is that if you don't have contracts defining what happens, the state of the law is there's co-authorship. So if the intention was, Victoria, you hire a producer to help you write your music and you pay that producer $15,000. And the understanding was that the producer was only going to help you make the music, but wasn't going to own anything. Well, unfortunately, under copyright law, that producer still has copyright ownership in what he made, unless you have a, collaboration agreement or an agreement otherwise saying that assignment of copyright is to you and you own 100% of the copyright. Okay, so it matters a ton. And that's why, I kind of said as part of the legal segment of, and that was the final piece, right? Number 5, staying legally protected, set up an LLC, make sure you have a producer agreement template for every time you work with the producers, make sure you have a collaboration agreement for every time you collaborate with someone, because when these things are missed, that exposes you to potential problems down the road. Would an NBA Youngboy feature help build my career? When it comes to doing collaborations and features, 100%, right? So, there's a reason why record labels will kind of push all of their artists together, especially if they're bigger named artists, right? Because it helps to elevate the status of the smaller artists and you cross pollinate audiences, right? So that's the beautiful thing. So collaborations, features are really helpful, but, equally, there are people who don't want to do any of that, right? They're like, Lady Gaga, when she was coming up, she just said the label was constantly pushing, do collaborations. And I just said, no, no, no. If I do this and it's successful, it's because I did it myself. And I love her. And I think we're talking about Lady Gaga today. Rich House Reviews. Hello. Thank you for being here. All right. So, guys, that is your overview of how to start a music career. Make sure you rewatch this if there's any piece that kind of stuck out to you. Like for me, when I learn something, I make sure that I watch it like 2 or 3 times because it helps to really inundate the information. I kind of memorize it that way. And so I would encourage you to do the same and then make a list, have an action item, and get started today. All right, we are going to reset. I'm going to give you guys one more segment on how to kick ass and stay legally protected. I'm going to try something new here. Give me a sec. All right, watch this for like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Hi guys, I'm Miss Krystle, the author of How to Keep Your Dukes Up in the Music Business. Now, there are a lot of books on the market claiming to help you with your music career, but the reason why my book is different is because I am an entertainment attorney, and I help my clients to make hundreds of thousands of dollars with their music careers by giving them the contracts they need to stay legally protected, by teaching them about copyrights and trademarks. Now, in my book, rated 5 stars on Amazon, I'm going to give you a crash course on setting up a real-life business for your music career, teaching you about marketing, music monetization, copyrights, and trademarks. And in addition to all of that, I'm giving you 8 essential contracts that you need in order to stay legally protected. Click the link down below to learn more. I don't know if you guys saw, but that Orko was in the library with me. So in the cartoons that we've done for various things that we're promoting, we always try to put that Orko in there somewhere. He's kind of like my Easter egg, who, by the way, will be on the show in just a little bit. I'm going to do one more little segment, and then we're going to get into all the newsy things. So keep dropping your comments and your questions. All right, so now let's talk about how to build a music business. And I am specifically going to gear this towards artists who are starting their own record labels. But if you are just an entrepreneur in general and you're looking to build your thing, whatever that is, if you are starting a company, you are selling perfume, you are selling clothing, it doesn't matter, right? So what I'm going to talk about is going to be applicable to whatever type of business you're trying to build. But with that in mind, I really want to empower independent artists to take control of their careers, to take control of and ownership of their music, and to not get taken advantage of by other people. So I'm helping you to kind of build this mindset. So going back to this number one of registering a limited liability company, again, we do this because it builds a liability shield around us so they can't sue us personally when something goes wrong. So we make sure that we set up the LLC where we live. It's usually very inexpensive. It's usually pretty fast to do. You can get help, hire an attorney, and I do this all day long. And in fact, I've set up like a dozen different LLCs for my own business ventures because it's good to have one LLC per thing, right? You might have one LLC as kind of your music business, your record label, as a big umbrella to what you do. But the beautiful thing is that you can set up as many LLCs as you want. And I do this often for filmmakers. And, when it comes to different film projects, right, we'll have a new LLC for each film so that if something happens with one of the films, it's not going to affect the other one. So keep that in mind. So as far as, when it comes to setting up the limited liability company, do that. And then you're going to get an operating agreement in place. Okay. So even if you are the only person in your company, you still want to get an operating agreement for 2 reasons. Number one, it's going to be a document that you have in place already for when you do get partners, for when you do bring people into the company. So it sets forth the rules of the road, who owns the company, who gets to spend the money, who gets paid when there's distributions, who gets to, own the IP, or how does that all work? And having that agreement in place is a beautiful thing because it's just already there, regardless of when you decide to partner up, sell assets, or I'm sorry, interest in the company. But then the second reason is because it's usually required. In a lot of states, it's required that you have an operating agreement as a limited liability company. And, when you go to open up your bank account, they're going to say, hey, I need to see your articles of organization. I need to see your operating agreement. So you want to have it in place for that reason as well. All right. So then moving on, the next thing that you do is you get what's called an EIN, which is an employer identification number. And it's kind of like the security or the social security number for your LLC. So these first three steps are we set up the LLC, we get an operating agreement in place, and then we get the EIN because you need that to open the bank account. Which, by the way, I was in the bank for 2 hours today, opening up 2 new business bank accounts for all of my business stuff. It's an administrative process, it's a headache, but you bring your laptop to the bank, you connect to their Wi-Fi, and you get some shit done while you sit there. So after you've kind of done these first couple of steps, now we're talking about building your team. Okay, so let's really focus on building out the structure of your operation. And a lot of times for new startups, it ends up being, not just you, but it's one more person. I find that a lot of kind of entrepreneurial types have a tendency to drag in a significant other or a parent or a family member, and they'll just be like, hey, you like me, you want to help, I need help. And so oftentimes, we'll pull in a couple of different people to start helping, and we figure out who's a good fit for what we're trying to do. Because, as you are now building out the team and you get people in place, like for example, an operations manager, the operations manager can assist you in making sure that all the different things in your business are running, right? So if you are a record label, A&R, we need someone who is actively trying to find talent. We need a marketing department who's in charge of making sure that the marketing strategy is not only in place, but being executed on. We need someone in financial to make sure that we aren't just spending all of our money aimlessly, that we're actually working towards profitability or at least breaking even, right? So, in this, sometimes it's just you. You're going to be the person that's to do all that stuff. And so, my first word to the wise is just do all that shit yourself. Don't complain about it. Okay. And once you learn the process of doing all that stuff, when you have someone else come in, you can train them and you know what needs to be done because you already did it yourself. You have kind of your procedure in place. And then as you grow, you'll have the ability to pay people. You can hire people and they'll be contractors and they can do certain hours for you. You can hire employees. So that's the beautiful thing. But where you start is you take on the responsibility to execute on everything yourself and you'll move as quickly as you go. All right. So if you say, oh, I'm just going to kind of have a short to-do list and I'm going to do it over 3 months. Okay, that's fine. But why can't you do it all today? I have found this for not only other entrepreneurs, but for myself. Right. So, if I say, team, let's get it done by the end of the week, that's fine. But why can't we do it today? And I think as fast as you move is as successful that you're going to be as an entrepreneur. So get the team, start structuring it out, and then systemize your operation. Living by calendars is incredibly important because as you start to kind of scale out and you are doing different things and building, if you have a calendar in place and a process for how you execute, things like marketing become very easy. So, for example, between my 2 platforms, I have my Miss Krystle platform, which is geared a little bit more towards my music and my creative stuff. And then I have Top Music Attorney. We're on every single social media platform. Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and we have no less than 2 different posts going up on each platform per day. It took a while to get to that point because that means that's a shit ton of content creation for me. And so with my schedule of running a law firm and having this show and trying to have a music career and everything, it is a lot and it seemed very overwhelming in the beginning. But now I'm at a place where we're just flowing as, in a system, as a team, my content creation, and it's because of things like scheduling, right? So there's definitely hacks, and we can talk about that, the hacks to systemize your operation. But sitting down and being like, what is the current schedule, and is there one? Is a really good place to start. And if there isn't, get one in place. And then moving on, you want to focus on the brand and your revenue. Okay. So brand overall, what are we trying to do? What's the mission here? And, quite frankly, that's a little bit of why there's been a change even in my own show here from what we were doing to what we're doing now. because, the reason why I started this channel is because I wanted to serve my community of artists who are starting their own record labels, and making sure that I was teaching you guys how to stay legally protected. That's incredibly important to me. So, kind of getting back to that mission was something I go back to the drawing board. How do we do that? And so, a part of it is just doing more segments like this, answering your questions, and making sure to really promote it across all my social media platforms for you guys to come here every week, Tuesdays and Fridays at 7 p.m. PST. We will be here. We will be live. I will answer your questions for free. So again, that goes back to kind of my mission statement, but you have to figure out your mission statement, your brand. What are you trying to do? And then look at your bottom line, right? Are you just hemorrhaging money? That happens a lot for early business owners that are early in the stage. At some point, you have to kind of figure out how to monetize. And that's another big shift that, kind of has to happen. But again, that goes back to team brainstorming, scheduling, and figuring it all out. All right. And then lastly, let's talk about socials. If you don't already have your business, right? So if you're a record label, if you are, I don't know, selling shampoos, whatever it is, if you don't already have that business username on every single social media platform, you need to go get it. And you need to make sure that it's the same, right? We are branding. We're making sure that people understand that if they're going to find Top Music Attorney on Instagram, they're going to find Top Music Attorney on TikTok. It's going to be the same username every single place. And, some clients will say, well, do we need to wait to go and get all the social media handles until we have started the LLC or started the website and done some of these other things like contracts? And my answer is absolutely not. You don't have to post anything right away, but make sure you go and get the social media handles immediately. As soon as I had decided that we were doing Top Music Attorney as a thing, you better believe I was going hard, and I was like freaked out and panicked and checking and trying to, make sure that there was no problems, because that's obviously not good if someone else has your username. So, recap. Number 1, make sure you go and start an LLC. It doesn't matter what you are doing as an entrepreneur. You want to stay legally protected. That's how you do it. And then for a more deep dive on how LLCs work, I have a lot of videos on this channel. Just search for the LLC videos. Number 2, get an operating agreement in place. Number 3, get your EIN, go open your bank account, and pro tip, don't use your business funds for your personal expenses. Okay? If I'm the one suing you and I see that you're using your business funds for your personal expenses, I'm going to be arguing to the court that you use your business as your personal piggy bank. It's not a real business, and I'm going to sue you personally. That's a real thing. So use your business funds only for the business. Start working on building your team. I have a full-length course on how to build a record label, but I have a free one as well. That's where you should start. Go to topmusicattorney.com. My free course on how to start a record label covers a lot of this, but when it comes to actually building the team, there are things that I get into of who to watch out for. There are red flags. There are things that have happened to me and my businesses that I share so you guys can learn how to avoid them. And then you want to systemize your operation. You want to get a schedule in place. You want to have a workflow that allows you to work. And you're not just constantly drowning in the stress of not knowing what the hell is coming next or what you should be doing. Because, a part of, quite frankly, my workflow is just trying stuff. I was telling my show producer who's going to come in. I know I've been on this for a while, but, I was telling my show producer, I was like, I tried 3 different types of content this week. I think all of it's going to flop. If it doesn't, that's exciting. But, I'm just trying stuff because I want to make sure that that I'm serving my audience and that I'm being entertaining. So you systemize your operation and then you focus on your brand. You focus on bringing in that revenue, and you're going to make sure that you're on socials, that you have all the users' names, and that your usernames are the same across all social media platforms. All right, guys. So if you are looking for additional help, make sure you go to topmusicattorney.com, and there are free courses there. So with that being said, let me check the chat really fast. Thank you guys. I appreciate you being here. It's a whole different world handling music business in the Caribbean. Like 70-90% of online content creation only provide info from the American perspective. Look, I mean, I represent a lot of content creators here in the United States, but it's funny how everyone has their different challenges. All right, so we're going to start getting into our news segments now. Now, the first one I'm going to hit by myself, and then I'll be bringing in that Orko. And the first one is having to do with the fact that Amber Heard, if you guys have been following the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial verdict, we covered it all on this channel. I will be sure to find the playlist and link the playlist that you can watch it after the live stream. But in any case, Amber Heard went on NBC and she did an exclusive interview, which they have been slowly releasing over the last couple of days. I don't know if you guys have seen any of these clips, but one of the clips stuck out to me. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this in so we can actually watch it together. And then I'm going to give you a quick reaction because I did watch this entire trial. Okay, I heard the evidence. I saw the evidence. I saw the witness testimony. And so you guys can give me your thoughts, but I will also go through and give you mine. All right, let me run this commercial so you don't have to watch this, and then we'll jump into it. All right, here we go.
That you instigated.
All right, so I'm turning this up. The volume was a little bit low on my end when I was playing this initially, but I'm going to turn on the captions just so we make sure we can all read and see what is happening. All right, so the interviewer is asking about how Amber Heard, I heard that you had instigated violence via the evidence that we heard during the trial. All right, let's keep going.
Physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes normal, as I testified to, you have to adapt.
You say you were responding, but there is evidence. There are tapes in which you acknowledge hitting.
Okay, in case you guys can't hear that quite as well. So in response, Amber just said there's context, right? There was more that basically the jury didn't get to hear that was played. And so now the interviewer is asking, you acknowledged in the audio tapes that you in fact did hit Johnny Depp and that you engaged in physical violence.
There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
I know much has been made of these audio tapes. They were first leaked online after being edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand.
Yeah, I mean, guys, and real quick, the verdict and the outcome was that both sides won. Johnny Depp won way more, right? So he won 10.35 million. There was a limit in Virginia to the not the compensatory, the punitive damages. So there was 15 million awarded, but the total walkaway for him was 10.35. And then Amber Heard was successful on one of her defamation claims in the amount of 2 million. So as far as defamation, the jury found that they had both defamed each other. But obviously the underlying question was, had there been abuse? And had there been abuse specifically by Johnny Depp? And across the board, the jury determined that there had not been a single instance of abuse in any way, right? So that does include not only physical violence, sexual violence, but verbal abuse. And so across the board, that is what the jury found. So going back now.
Context. But you're testifying and you're just telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and here you are on tape saying you did.
As I testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're...
Okay, let's take that for a second. I believe that to be true. I do believe that to be true when it comes to victims, of violence, right? Domestic violence, sexual violence, that there can be a tendency to do things to deal with the perpetrator. So I think what she is saying is accurate in general, but where the problem lies for me is that, having actually watched the entire trial and seen all the evidence and heard all of the evidence, it kind of falls flat, because whereas we did hear multiple instances of Amber Heard being, admitting to being physically violent with Johnny Depp, right? So like he was the domestic violent victim. We didn't hear a single piece of evidence or see a single piece of evidence where Johnny Depp talked about, abusing Amber, right? So that's where a big problem lies here. I don't know if you guys can hear. So both of my cats just broke into my studio. My cat Gizmo is incredible. He learned how to open the door. And so what he does is, when they are kind of put in a different room, just so I can do the show and try to not have chaos, he opens the door. So here, you want to have Ripley say hi? When you guys do super chats, right, which go to treats for Ripley, let me show you Ripley. Here she is. Hi, little girl. And that's Gizmo. Hi, little girl. Okay, I'm gonna have them kind of go out here for a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, but let's go back. So we'll continue. There's just about a minute left for Amber Heard.
You're living in it.
But then there are other times, there's another tape where you're taunting him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, am a victim of domestic violence.
20-second clips or the transcripts of them are not representative of even the 2 hours or the 3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Could your side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
Boom. All right, I'll let Amber respond to that, but I mean, a good question. So Amber saying, you don't know the context, you didn't hear all the other stuff. So just because you heard me saying, yes, I hit you, stop being a baby, right? You didn't hear the rest of it. And so then, of course, the question in response to that is, well, couldn't your attorneys have allowed it to play? We had obviously 6 weeks of trial, and you had 3 of those weeks to present anything, any witness, any evidence. Let's see what she says.
I'm not a lawyer. As I testified to, I was talking in those recordings as a person in extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
He says he never hit you.
Yeah, so I heard Amber, use that when Camille was cross-examining her a couple of times, as far as to be like, you have not presented, for example, medical records to the extent that you had a broken nose and black eyes and this and that. You haven't presented medical records, and so Amber seemed to continue to go back to this thing of, I gave my attorneys everything. If you don't have it, it's not my fault. It's because apparently my attorneys didn't submit it for trial, which quite frankly would be malpractice. And if that happens, that's a very bad thing for her attorneys. But I think that, unfortunately, that evidence just simply didn't exist. So in any case, I thought we would just kind of touch on that, because we have been, covering this on our last live stream. We had Timothy M. Collier on for some legal analysis, talking about, the statements that were made by the attorneys for Amber and Johnny after trial, right? Doing these interviews and kind of shit talking, at least on Amber Heard's side of things. And so talking about, the repercussions or potential repercussions of that. So in any case, wanted to touch on that, but we're going to move on to other things, and we're going to bring in that Orko. I know you guys are missing him, so let's see if he's back from taking care of the kitties. There he is.
Hello. How's it going? Yeah. Shout out to the community. Thank you guys for being here. We are streaming on multiple Facebook pages, YouTube, across a couple different pages, but we are mainly promoting the Top Music Attorney on YouTube. So please come over there and subscribe. I see you guys in the chat. If we can't get the comments go by so quick, we try to get to them. But because we are going on so many platforms, if you're on YouTube, feel free to use a super chat that highlights them up a little bit longer. And then all that money just goes to Ripley.
That does. Who you guys just met. It's for Ripley treats.
Yeah, no, okay, she's trouble. She's a menace.
So let's jump into the rest of our news segment. I think we're starting with Lady Gaga.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so Lady Gaga We are hearing word on the internets. She may be playing Harley Quinn in Joker 2, and the little monsters can't handle it. I don't know if we have any little monsters in the chat. We have fans of Lady Gaga on a personal level. I have been a big fan of Lady Gaga and just her hustle and entrepreneurial spirit forever. So I think
Right.
she's fabulous. And what do you think if she ends up being a star in Joker 2?
Well, she obviously, has the acting chops, so I don't think it's going to be a problem there. Um, I think what's interesting about it is that they're saying possibly that that this is going to be a musical version of the Joker. So that actually sounds kind of more interesting to me. I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was cool. Personally, though, I'm kind of getting kind of burnt out on the whole Joker Harley Quinn thing. That's me.
Okay.
But I mean, I was burnt out on it for like a while. Like it just seems like Hollywood kind of takes these ideas and then they just kind of run them into the ground. But this actually sounds kind of interesting if they were going to do like a musical take, if they treated it in a serious manner and not like a cheesy musical. So it was like kind of like how Bjork did like Dancer in the Dark, like it was a very serious story, but there was like musical elements in there, but it wasn't like silly at all. So, I mean, I think it could be super dope. Um, Definitely getting Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga together is, I mean, it's going to be good acting wise. So I'm into it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, and I hope that that's something that we see her doing, and that she's getting a little bit more into acting because I think she's really proving herself as an actress. And I feel like we saw that a little bit just from her music videos. She is very expressive. She's very in touch with her emotions, and I love that she's willing to share that. That's probably even something me as an artist that I've been working on over many years of just letting it out. I mean, I have a song called "I Don't Cry." I don't
Right.
want to let it out. All right, so very good. Let's move on. Let me go back here. So we're talking about Squid Games, guys. Ooh, I am very excited about this.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. There you go. Yeah, this is crazy.
Squid Games reality competition series green lit by Netflix. So we have the real life Squid Games coming to Netflix.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be nuts, and one can only like speculate what this will be. So, since the phenomenon of Squid Games, it's Netflix's biggest, show vehicle thing that they put out. It has 111 million estimated viewers to the original thing. They've greenlit the season 2 of Squid Games. They got this new the challenge reality thing, where they're going to have 456 competitors, all competing for the 4.56 million dollars in money. Obviously, they can't kill anybody, so I don't think that anybody is going to die. But you remember that show that we used to watch? What was it called? Like Most Extreme Challenge, where they would run through these like obstacle courses and stuff, and they would get all beat.
Yeah,
And
producers are and studios are trying to push the envelope of what they can do. But let's talk about that for a second because guys, I have been retained to represent reality TV shows before. And so I have a little insider scoop of kind of how this works, right? So one of the things that's really important for a show like this is a liability waiver, right? So making sure that, there is notice given via the contract that says, "Hey participant, you're going to be engaging in extreme physical activity." We don't know the state of everyone's health when they go on shows like this that are intended to push you. I mean, goodness, X Factor, right? So I don't know who used to watch
right.
X Factor, Joe Rogan, but just the
Oh, you
extreme
mean
stress.
no? Was that what it's called? X Factor? Was that what it's called?
I think so. Am I saying it
Fear
wrong?
Factor. Fear
Oh,
Factor.
fear. Oh, did I say X
You're
Factor?
thinking.
There was
Yeah.
an
You're
X
thinking of
Factor as well.
the TV show.
Yeah, not X Factor. I'm sorry. The Joe Rogan show. But anyway, you're eating things and you're getting your heart rate and you're having to go through different challenges. And so, someone could die. And so you need to have a contract that says, "Hey, person, your, estate isn't going to sue us for
Right.
killing you by accident." So there's liability waivers, but then there's also things like first rights of refusal. Because
Right.
I bet you anything, we're going to have some stars are born moments from the show.
Well, no, and I mean it's just because there's Netflix has other kind of fun shows, right? So they have the what is it they're called, the Floor is Lava, which just released a new season, which I'm kind of excited about as well. Which like where you just can't, or the Floor is Lava, where it's like they're just kind of jumping all over everything and they can fall in these like lava pits and stuff like that. Um, so I think that for to keep people's interest though, if they're going to see Squid Games, if people aren't getting either really hurt, I mean they can't kill them, but like okay, so for example, right? So when they would do red light, green light, right? So if they're doing red light, green light, and because they're going to want to see the classic games in this thing. So what happens if
Which
they
I'm curious
lose?
about. I mean, yeah, and they're reporting that we should see some of the classic games, but I'm kind of like, what's the fun in that? I
Yeah,
mean,
no, but I mean, no, but that's cool, right? So, but it's cool if they lose, and then what happens? They have to be punished. They're not going to get killed, but will they get like shot with like paintballs or something?
that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Like
they're going
that
to
would be
shoot them
kind
with
of cool. Like,
paintballs.
yeah, no, I mean, if you're gonna do it, and it's not going to be like super watered down, then like I don't know. Otherwise, I think people are going to tune out if it's cheesy. Like they got to go
Right.
all the way as much as they can, or not. That's the whole intrigue about this show, is the fact that it was just pushing the envelope. It was so shocking. I think visually it's going to look great. I mean, the show had some of the best art direction I have seen. So I'm into it. I'm into it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So then the other thing that we see a lot in these contracts is that if we have these stars are born moments happening, the shows want to make sure that they have first rights of refusal, right? So that someone can't go and do another TV show for a certain period of time, right? Because someone else will see this person and be like, hey, come on our show. And so they'll say, you're not allowed to be on other
Right.
reality TV shows for a while. We have the first right to book you again for, sequel, or number 2 in the series.
Mhm.
And so we see a lot of prohibition on other opportunities that the performers or what would you call it? Talent.
Yeah.
I'm having a brain fog.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean,
Participants.
participants, or in this case, possibly athletes. I mean,
That's a very good point, right? I mean, are we going to have a variety of types of people like we saw in the
mhm,
show? But things also, I've seen these shows require that any trademark that comes because someone is a certain number or they have a certain personality or character is that it's developed through the show. So therefore the show owns it. Right. So for example, if we had Miss Krystle on a show and Miss Krystle became a thing, they might say, well, Miss Krystle, we're going to own your trademark. We're going to have the
right.
sole authority of what we're going to do with that. So these contracts can be incredibly aggressive because these shows anticipate the success. They anticipate what's going to want to attach to it.
So, I mean, if people are interested in getting involved in this Squid Games challenge, though, you could head on over to what is it? Squidgamecasting.com. You can see you got the little Netflix logo there. Okay, I mean, it's all over, so it's not just limited to America or whatever. It's worldwide casting, which would makes a lot of sense. But you got your links for UK casting, or US casting, UK casting, and global casting. With the largest cast in TV history, 456 real players will enter the game in pursuit of a life-changing cash prize of 4.5 million. Do you have what it takes to win Squid Games? For this round, the front man in search of English language speakers from any part of the world. The stakes are high, but in this game, the worst fate is going home empty-handed. Well, that's not as fun. The worst fate should be you don't get to leave. Something. There needs to be some kind of consequence.
Oh my goodness. No, I saw the comment, maybe there's going to be not just the paintballs, but bean bags. Now, I disagree with this one a little bit. In the current climate, you can just call the losers obscene names and they'll feel like they were killed or mutilated. I don't know about that. I think Netflix will get canceled if they allow any of that. But now let's talk about the prize. Guys, again, going back to this, $4.56 million is the prize. So going back to you're going to sell your soul when you sign this contract, I think for 4.56 million, people are going to happily do that. That's just me. Now, should I go on the show? I don't know if I need to clear this with you, but I don't know. I feel like this could be something fun.
No. No. I mean, just think about it. I mean, it definitely sounds fun. It definitely sounds fun. But just, I mean, even when we would watch that what is it? The Most Extreme Challenge or Wipeout was like the American version, whatever that show was called that we were watching, where they would run the obstacle course. I was
Right.
like, oh, that looks
I
like
think it's
fun.
Wipeout.
Like we should
Yeah.
totally do that. And then I would just like, no, like I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous.
Well, guys, and you know, as far as the show, I mean, you better believe that we're going to be watching it. We will probably be covering it well as each episode goes, because there's a lot of legal questions that come
I
up
want to see
with
the
this stuff,
waivers.
and that you are specifically putting people in harm's way, and they're voluntarily putting themselves in harm's way. Now, there's obviously, maybe they're going to water this down. Maybe it's not going to be super extreme conditions. Maybe they're not going to get shot with paintballs and forced to do heavy cardio as they're, you know, doing the tug of wars and this and that. I doubt it. I think this is going to be super extreme, and I think we're all going to be watching.
Yeah, no, and of course we're all going to be tuning in for Squid Game season 2. Anyway,
Yes.
the writer and director was all talking about just different plot lines and stuff that, you know, could happen, but nothing is set in stone. I think he said something like it took him, I don't know, I don't even, like 10 years or something like that to write this thing, and then, or 17 years or whatever,
Yeah.
and now he's got to come up with the next, you know, one, and there's going to be a lot of pressure. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on this game, and I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on this season 2, because the bar has been set pretty high. I know that when it was over, I was kind of like feeling like hoping that maybe they wouldn't do a season 2, or that would just be it. Just let it live in itself and just be, you know, the
Yeah, because
masterpiece
you're worried
what it
about
was.
it being
It can only
something
get.
less than. Now look, this writer, whose story, by the way, was shunned and rejected, and he was, you know, it's a beautiful story of just success, you know, that it came around like this. But Netflix is not going to let this thing flop. They're going to have like 17 other writers who are assisting
Right.
and making sure that this thing is
But that's also
amazing.
where it could
And
go
quite frankly,
wrong. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
my suggestion is that all you need to do is do the exact same thing again.
Right.
New
Right.
players. Ooh, players.
Right.
That's the word I was looking for. New players, new games. That's it. And we will all watch.
Very good.
All right.
Very
So,
good.
yeah. So, here, pull up the next segment. I'm going to do a quick refresh and we'll go into the next story.
Very good. Make sure, everybody, that you have joined the community. If you haven't yet, come over to Top Music Attorney on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, the top bell, get notified. We are going live twice a week at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every Thursday or every Tuesday and Friday. Yeah, just come on over and please hit the like and subscribe button.
Yes, indeed. All right. So let's move on. We're talking about Coachella.
This is kind of fun. Okay, so they just announced Coachella pre-sale tickets just went on sale, or are going on sale this Friday. Now, this is for the advance sale, so this isn't the general. You actually have to go to the Coachella website and you have to register now so you can participate in the pre-sale on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So this is actually pretty cool. And they're making it really easy. Now, none of the artists have on the lineup have been announced yet.
Right.
It's just so, I mean, usually this is how they do it every time. You never really know. And the more earlier years of Coachella, you would definitely know the artists before you would even buy tickets, and they would actually let you buy tickets a la carte. I remember, so you could just pick, instead of going like 2-3 days, you could just pick, you know, Saturday or Sunday. Now you have to buy them all as a complete package. Which is, you know, I guess a smart business plan. But I got to tell you, when I would go to Coachella, it was very exhausting. So,
yeah.
but you know, you can buy your tickets, but you have to register first. The
Yeah, and they don't
passes,
even have a lot. I mean, sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say,
yeah.
you know, I'm looking at, because I wanted to know frequently asked questions. Do they have any of that up? Everything is 2022. I mean, so I mean, they're doing a big push, right? We're going to be able to buy the tickets. So was it Friday?
Yeah.
This pre-sale. So anyway, yeah, let's talk about the passes. They don't even have a lot of information about that.
Well, they sort of do. They do and they don't. It's just very confusing how they have this website laid out. So right here, I'm just skipping right to festival passes. There's another screen where it tells you all just the different procedures and things that you're going to have to know beforehand coming to Coachella and stuff. But it says right here that there's no difference in the tiers other than price. Buy early to save. So I don't really understand, because if there's no difference in the tiers, and you're just supposed to ignore that, and they're not telling you what the difference between all this stuff is. I don't know why it's $4.99, $5.49, and $5.99.
Right.
I don't know what that means yet, and there's nowhere on here where they clarify. It just says, the limits, the wristbands, it's just, so I'm not exactly sure. And I was looking other places on the website for this information. I didn't really find it. Wasn't really clear. So this is about what it is for the general admission and, like a shuttle ride. It's all pretty expensive. Your VIP tiers, you're looking at, definitely over $1,000. And then your fees for if you want to go like camping in your car, prefer car camping. So I guess that means you're closer, you're in a better lot. Tent camping, if you have your tent, camping companion. So if you're, staying, I guess, an extra night after the weekend is over. And then you're getting into things like, almost like $3,000 for a lodge. Now, I think this is like a portable lodge that they have. This isn't like a hotel. This isn't like you're going somewhere. I think they have like
okay.
temporary lodging.
Right. It
For
was say ready to go 8 by 12 by 8 wood.
8.
Yeah.
Wood lodge. Yeah. Lockable door. Well, that's good that that you'll be able to lock your stuff in there. And then they have a better one, plus your VIP tickets, or the same lodge, but with VIP passes instead. You can get a tent for 4 people, and I can't even, like, I don't know. I don't want to hang out for 4 days in one tent or 3 days in a tent with somebody.
I mean, you got the wild ones out there who are gonna do it. That's not for me.
That's a younger crowd. Safari camping, $9,000, the ultimate camping experience. 4-night stay in a fully furnished air conditioning Shakar style tent tucked behind the venue on the safari campground. 2 Coachella guest passes, including access to the VIP areas, golf cart transportation, private air conditioning, restroom, and showers. See, that's the way you want to do it. Now, how many is this for? Is this just for? It doesn't say like how many. Is this per person? I don't know if this is per person, because the other ones say for whatever, and this just says. I don't know if that's.
I feel like they got a lot of information missing, and I understand obviously we're really far away from this, but if you're gonna start selling the tickets, let's.
Lockers $90. I don't know if that's a per day or for the weekend.
What was the Disneyland? What was the Disneyland locker? Was
15 a day. So I mean, it's out of control, but like, Coachella is like Disneyland. Hotel packages $3,000. I think that's per person though. So it's a very expensive it's a very expensive experience, but I'm actually kind of looking at it. When I was first looking, I'm like, ugh, I can't imagine like paying for that. I love the fact that Coachella has been broadcasting on YouTube for the last couple of years. I mean, I've seen some incredible acts, at Coachella. Just from these performances.
One thing that's interesting to me is that there has not been, I feel, a reduction in people actually attending the festival. Maybe less, 2020, obviously,
right.
That was a problem. But as far as the live streaming and seeing that maybe people are just being a little more comfortable at home and watching versus actually going in person, people are going and they're paying that $3,000.
I love it. We have a nice big TV. I got a nice sound system. I like watching it in the comfort of my own, space and stuff. Like I said, Coachella was fun for me, but like when I did go, I mean, I've seen Bjork, I've seen Prodigy, I've seen a lot of really cool acts like Susie and the Banshees. There's a lot of cool things that I've seen at Coachella, and I love the experience when I was there, but it's just so exhausting. It's so hot. It's so just, then when you're done, it's not even like you're going home. Like you're sleeping in some campground or in some log 8x10 cabin. I don't know. It's cool, but I love the fact that they, I'm hooked to Couchella. I think they call it Couchella. That's what I'm hooked on. But I mean, and then we're speculating on who might be there next year, and that's going to be the next big point of conversation. I know people that I would like to see. Who do you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it at length earlier in the show, but we're talking about Stranger Things, that Kate Bush running up the hill. I mean, for the phenomenon that it's become on social media, right? The virality that the
Right.
song has had, I think that Coachella would almost be dumb not to try everything in their power to get Kate Bush to show up and sing that song.
It's a no-brainer to get Kate Bush. I agree with you
Yeah.
150%. To not have her on it is I agree with you, is criminal. Um, I know, but I mean, other legacy acts that I would like to see, as far as I know, that haven't done it, is like maybe like a Hall and Oates. I was like thinking about earlier. I
Mm.
think that would be kind of cool. I think you can get the kids to get real excited about that. But of course, I was surprised last year that Tyler the Creator wasn't on the bill, but I knew he had his Call Me If You Get Lost tour. I'd love to see Pusha T coming up on this next one. I mean, there's a lot of cool acts. I know we had. I wonder if we're going to have any controversy of people that'll be booked now and then they'll change. I know that we've
Yeah.
covered on here the
Yeah.
Travis Scott fiasco, when he
Yep.
was replaced by Kanye, and then
And
Kanye
then
was replaced by
Kanye backed out, and we had the weekend.
and Swedish House Mafia. So I don't know. I'm really excited for Coachella. I'm stoked about it because, like I said, just I love the fact that it's being broadcasted. I like that more festivals and concerts are being broadcasted. I mentioned Tyler the Creator before. He had his Amazon show that was
Yep.
broadcast, which was just
Right.
absolutely phenomenal. Upcoming, we have the Something in the Water Festival, Pharrell Williams Festival that he is throwing, with just like everybody that I mean, that's my dream Coachella lineup, but it's in Washington D.C. But that's also going to be live streamed. I think they're all just kind of taking note from Coachella doing it on YouTube. So I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, and we'll give you guys updates as they're making announcements, and when we
But
do
pretty
have a
expensive.
roster. Yeah,
Pretty
and
expensive.
that's right. So get ready to spend your life savings and have adrenal
Friday
fatigue
morning,
by the
though.
time you get
Friday
back.
morning, wake up early. Wake up
Yeah.
early Friday if you want to get it, and you do have to go register on the Coachella website in order to participate on Friday.
Okay. Well, hey, that Orko, thank you for joining us on this newsy segment, and we'll see you on the next show.
I appreciate you all for letting me sit in with you, and a shout out to the community. Please subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. One more thing I did want to touch on that we're going to be kind of doing.
Sure.
Just wanted to kind of tease. I know we haven't mentioned it for the people in the crowd. If you are an artist or a producer, or if you have a friend that's an artist or producer, we are going to be doing live on air artist reviews here pretty soon. We're kind of working out the logistics of how we're going to do that, but artists will have a chance to submit their music and their profiles to us. Miss Krystle will look at your pages. She'll listen to your music, give you advice on your career, answer any questions. This will be something that you will join us on the screen for, and we'll just kind of give you an artist review, give you a little bit of advice, and we'll have a way for you guys to submit things, so, and get you on a different kind of platform. You guys will be in the replay, so let's see about that.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Peace.
Yeah, so guys, I mean, when it comes to doing these artist reviews, and I'll make sure to mention it near the front of the show next time, because I'll start promoting this every time. I want to make sure that when it comes to actually reviewing and giving some, input, it's not just legal. I mean, I was talking to a client today, and I'm kind of one-stop shop, right? So I do the music thing myself, I do my branding, I do my marketing. And in fact, for my end of the show kind of segment, something I wanted to point out was kind of like my favorite social media post that I did in the last couple of days, right? So over the weekend, and there was one that made me laugh a lot. Here, let me show you. So over on Miss Krystle Instagram, because you guys know I have Miss Krystle Live, which is the one for all of my music and kind of lawyerly stuff. And then there's Top Music Attorney, which is my other brand. So the one that we posted, I think this was this morning. This one just cracked me up. Make sure you go watch it. It has to do with haters. And I love responding to haters. And so that kind of goes to that. But the one that I wanted to feature was this right here, which is a get ready with me. Okay, so I mentioned earlier in the show that I've been trying to challenge myself a little bit to try new types of content. And so I've never done a get ready with me, but it's like, let's get ready to lawyer. And so I don't know, the fact that I did it, I'm excited for. It kind of did pretty well across all social media platforms. So I'm going to do some more of these, but as just a note of kind of challenging yourself as an artist, as a creator, as an entrepreneur, try stuff. Right? Try to serve your audience, try to be entertaining, and keep it on brand, right? So get ready with me. Might not be applicable to what you're doing, but there's something else that you can definitely try. We will be going live again on Friday at 7 p.m. PST. We go live every Tuesday, every Friday at 7 p.m. PST, where I'm going to answer your questions live. And I mean, guys, I just want to say thank you for watching our Top Music Attorney podcast. This is the podcast where you learn how to master the music business and stay legally protected. We're doing it twice a week, and I just love your faces. So thank you guys very much for stopping in, for watching. If you haven't yet, be sure to come and subscribe on Top Music Attorney on YouTube, and I will see you guys on Friday. Until then, have a beautiful rest of your week. Don't have that sugar, and we'll